Hello everybody and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I'm Amy, if you did not know. I love reading books, I love sharing books, I read thriller, Christian, romance and a little bit of non-fiction. So grab a drink, grab a snack, if you're in winter, grab a blanket and let's get comfy and let's get cozy. So my drink of choice is obviously just some water. Anywho, let's get into today's video. So if you could not tell by today's title, we are doing a mid-year reading check-in, book tag, whatever you want to call it. So I have my questions and then I thought we would just randomly go and pick them out on the bookshelf and everything as we answer them. I also put all of these questions in the caption if you want to go and create it yourself. First question that I have is my reading goal for 2026. So this is actually my first year in like 3 or 4 years where I haven't actually dedicated a certain amount of books that I want to read in a year. Because for the past few years I've gone, if it's like 2025, I want to read 25, maybe just over 25 books for the year of 2025. However, this year I have not done that. This year I have been changing my mind so many times. The way I choose my TBR, all of that. I've gone through a TBR cart, which I no longer have. Still have the cart, there's just not books on it. Then I've gone through where I've written like TBR prompts on pieces of paper and I randomly choose. I've gone through that. I've gone through writing out all of the books I have not read, writing them on pieces of paper, folding them up, randomly picking it. I have gone through that. Currently what I'm doing, which I will not be doing from next month, is these little sticks and they have like little numbers on them, and then I've written on like cue cards what the number is, and that's how I choose my book. However, this does not look aesthetically pleasing on a bookshelf at all, so I have bought something very exciting to replace that. So I've literally been changing my mind left, right and center. So I don't have a reading goal for 2026. I'm kind of just taking it on the chin and seeing how many books I can read. Throughout the year I was kind of like choosing 1 or 2 books and then randomly choosing a next book from my TBR. But for the past month, so for the month of June, I actually chose a few books and then that was like my June TBR. And then I've done it now recently for my July TBR, which I may make a separate video for. But yes, that is pretty much, so I can't answer that because I don't have one. My next question is, how many books have I read this year so far? And if I'm not mistaken, it's 22 books that I've read so far this year, which is fantastic for me, especially since I just explained that I used to read like 25 books for the year of 2025. So the fact that we're halfway through the year and I've already accomplished 22 books, that is fantastic. Best book I have read in 2026 so far. That is quite an easy question for me to answer, which is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. I devoured this book. Well, not at first. At first I was like, this is so boring, especially like the first maybe 30 pages. I was like, what is this? This literally feels like a history textbook. And then I found like a little, like, I think it's like an AI audiobook thingy on YouTube, and I listened to that for the rest of the book as well as reading at the same time as listening, and I flew through this book in 2 or 3 days. I loved this book. I'm sure a lot of people have already read this book. If you have not, it follows 2 sisters during World War II in France, and the one sister is a lot younger than the other. So the one sister, what's her name? Isabel, she's a lot younger She's only 18. She's been like kicked out of schools and expelled and all these things so many times. She's quite rebellious and she kind of like goes by her own rules. And then we have her older sister Vianne, who is very like mom. She is a mom. She's married. She has a house. She has a kid. All of these things. She's very like responsible, obviously. So she's like the complete opposite of her sister Isabel. And now the two of them play such an important role during the war as women and for other women and their children. As different as they are, they both have very special personalities and very special traits that made them the people that they are during that time of the war. And I really, really loved it. I did cry in this book a little bit, not sob, but it was extremely sad, and I got attached to characters that I feel like I should never have gotten attached to in the first place. But it's very, very, very sad, obviously, because it is during World War II, and obviously people die and things like this, and this is where the Nazis take over France. So it is quite a lot to take in, but nevertheless, I loved this book so much. So this is definitely my favorite book that I've read so far this year. The next question is the worst book I've read so far this year, which is one I kind of DNF'd 50 pages in, which is 1 Minute Later. If you can hear this bird, I am so sorry. Anyways, it's 1 Minute Later. I did DNF it. I am trying to sell this book as it is still in like pretty much new condition. So I'm trying to sell this so someone else can enjoy the book. But it's meant to be like a murder mystery thriller type of book, and it was just not giving that at all. There's too many characters, too many things to dive into straight away into the book, and I didn't know what was A and what was B. So definitely not for me. The next question is, what is the best sequel I have read so far this year? And just over a year ago, I read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and I loved this book so very much. So this year I decided to pick up Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter, and I'm so glad I did. And I'm also very happy I picked this book up quite some time after reading the first one, because there is quite a time jump between how this one ends and this one begins. It's like a year or two later. So this one is in high school and like prom and all of that, and this is like their second year in university and everything. So it's like quite some time. They've obviously grown and matured. Things have happened to both of them between that time and everything. So I would say if you want to know younger them, read this. But this book to me is far better than the first one. But this is probably the best sequel I have read so far this year. Okay, the next question is the biggest surprise read so far. So I did pick up this book, I think it may also be like a year ago or so. And I love Holly Jackson, and I loved A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, like all 4 books, like the prequel and the 3 in the series. I love them so very much. So then I bought 5 Survive, and I started it, and I was just like, this is just not good. And maybe it was just the time, the headspace, all of that stuff. Then I picked this book up in the month of June and everything, and I loved it. I literally read this book in 3 days. Love. This book so it's a thriller, like a young adult thriller. There is swearing in it, and all of that, but it's pretty much about these 6 friends that are going on summer break, and instead of flying down like everyone else is, they decide to take a caravan and drive down. So this whole book takes place in 8 hours, so from 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock in the morning. and then they kind of like lose signal, so then they get lost, and now they're in the middle of like the woods and everything, and there's a sniper that's just like shot all 4 of their tires, and now they're stuck and they're stranded, and the sniper's like, one of you knows what you've done, so own up to it and come out. And now they need to discuss amongst themselves, who is this person, who knows the sniper, what did we do, who is it, and all these secrets and everything just come tumbling out, which is insane. And the plot twists in this book, like, they just kept coming. Like, it was insane. So definitely this surprised me, because like I said, I did try to read it and then I didn't feel it, and then I picked it up and I could not put it down. So this definitely surprised me. The next book is new favorite authors. For this question of new favorite authors, they're new to me, and I have 2. The first one is Denise Hunter. I read this book and I absolutely loved it so very much. It's not quite a long book, but I love the writing style. I just loved everything. It was dual POV, small town, it's giving 50 First Dates. Loved it. So I definitely want to invest in more of her books. And then the other author I really like is Mariana Zapata. This is the first and only book I have of hers, and I also read it in the month of June, and I loved it so much. I just wish this book was dual POV, then it would have definitely been a 5-star read for me. But still 4 stars, loved it. Forced proximity, like marriage of convenience, grumpy sunshine. I wouldn't say enemies to lovers, but she's not the biggest fan of him. It is kind of like workplace romance, kind of, in the beginning. Like, although also in this book, why I wanted like dual POV is just because we're in her head the whole time, and like her monologue is kind of draining at some points, and that's just why I wish we were kind of in his head as well. But these are definitely 2 authors I want to invest in their new books. A book that made me cry. Oh, I can just grab this one, which is Courageous. This is a movie adaptation. So the movie came out first, and then the Kendrick brothers wrote the book based off of the movie. It is a Christian movie book. It's about 4 police officers. They're all fathers, and they all suck at being a husband and a father. Something traumatic has to happen for them to realize that life is too short and you need to make the most of your family and your children. And whatever happened in the middle of the book, I don't want to talk about, and I will probably never reread this book a day in my life, and I refuse to watch the movie because it broke me. It just broke me. Okay, the next question is a book that made me happy. This one is very easy. So I'm loving the Baxter series from Karen Kingsbury, which is 33 books. I am only up to book number 6. But anyway, book number 3, I just love this book. It just made me so happy, which is Remember. And this one follows Landon Blake, who's a firefighter, and Ashley, who actually goes and works at an old age home with all these Alzheimer patients. And my granny, on my dad's side, she actually passed away due to Alzheimer's and all of that. And reading this book, it just made me think back to her and everything, and it just made me really happy to see how different people connect with people with Alzheimer's, and that you don't need to push them to the side. Like, they are still there, and they are still living, and they still can think, even though they may not remember you or what they're doing or where they are. You can still have a conversation to them about anything, and it's literally, to them, it's like you're a new person and a new friend that comes to visit them every day. And I just love that so much. So this definitely made me happy. The next question is the most beautiful book I have purchased this year, which is one I am so excited to read when summer comes around, because obviously we're in the southern hemisphere, so we are currently in winter, which is Just Friends by Hayley Pam. And I've been following her on social media for so many years, and when this book came to South Africa, I was just like, "Oh, I need to have it," but it was so expensive, so I had to just wait for it to get a little bit cheaper. And it's just like such a beautiful cover. I just love it so much, and it literally looks like her and her husband, and I just love that. I just really love that. This is definitely the most beautiful book I have purchased this year. Next question is kind of a long one, which is, what books do I need to read before the end of 2026? There are so many, so I'm just gonna sit here and tell you them. So I'm just gonna sit here and tell you the books that I really want to read before the end of 2026, which is at least, I want to say at least 3 or 4 of Frida's books. If I'm looking at them now, I definitely want to read Never Lie. Never Lie is definitely up there. I don't own these two yet, but I want to, which is The Co-Worker and Ward D by Freida McFadden. I really want to get them for my birthday. So, I don't know. Something about those books, I just feel like they're going to be really good books. So, I definitely want to read those. Other books that I want to read this year is definitely the Addicted / Calloway Sister series. I have them up there on my other bookshelf. So that is definitely a series I want to read before the end of the year. And also Off Campus. So I have kind of made a request for that series for my birthday. Yeah, those are definitely the books that I'm like, I have to read this before the end of the year. The rest I'm just like I'll enjoy them, but I want to savor them. Whereas these I'm like, I have to read them. So I don't know if we're going to achieve that or not. I don't know. I guess we will have to do an end year book check-in and see if I did. Okay, the next question is my top 5 reads so far. Ooh, my top 5. That's probably The Nightingale. I think that will definitely be number 1. The Nightingale. Number 2. This is tough. Number 2, I'm going to say Remember by Karen Kingsbury. Number 3, I want to say The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden. I did really enjoy The Boyfriend. Number 4, I'm going to say Courageous. And then number 5. And number 5 would probably have to be Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. I love that book as well. It was such a beautiful book to read and everything. So that concludes today's video and our Okay everyone, so that concludes today's video of our mid-year book tag, book reading, check-in, whatever you want to call it. I hope you left here with at least 1, if not 2 or a few books to add to your everlasting TBR. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!